Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the Staple Crew. You are here with the Swab and the Captain himself. Captain, how you doing today?
We're doing fantastic. Whoa, till the cat came back in the house.
There she is.
BG
What's
just
up,
wants to
Beach?
be in the episode. So, anyway, now we're doing great. Good Sunday. So glad you guys could be here with us. And we'll be here for a while today. There's so much to cover. It's just amazing how the world just each day gives us content about the stuff we love so much, crypto and life. So what do you got, Brent? How you doing today?
I'm doing great. Yeah, I had a lot of fun this week, just researching and going over a lot of the stuff that you talk about, Dad. I'm really excited. We're going to be gearing up to do more lives with everybody here in the future, especially on Patreon. And so I really want to encourage and get that big conversation going with Dad, which he does with us on all his monologues. And so just the opportunity to get us rolling. And so I've been going through like the other communities and people that we both follow, and there's just some amazing content out there. There's some huge news about the spot ETF. I think we'd all love to hear your take on that, Dad. And then I was just going to kind of go broad strokes on the past to today of how people have kind of used money and the understanding about gold and kind of where we're at now.
Yeah.
Before we launch in, just wanted to say hi to everybody here.
Oh, yeah, cool. I can't see anybody's names, guys.
Yeah, thanks, Gary. Thanks for being the first to show, brother. FICA, you. Love it. Joanna, good morning. Well, we love you. Thank you for all that you are doing for us. Joanna's incredible. We got Crypto AI. Audra Z. Is it Audra Z? I still don't know it. I'm working on it. We got Northern Living. We got Alice Pond. Christian Outdoor Boys are with us. The voice of Ireland. Sean, good friend Sean Robbins. Avensai, J Crypto Minded. Thank you all for joining us today, and everybody else.
Very cool.
What do you want to run on first, Dad? If anybody has questions, anything you want us to talk about today, we'll go. Let's do it, people.
Yeah, put them in there. Mm-hmm. God, there's so much news. There's and I don't mean news necessarily. I mean like channel news and stuff that you and I have planned and whatnot. Yeah. But we'll get into that later, I guess, in the end of the video. Mm-hmm. That ETF, that announcement right on the 13th was really big news, I think. Yeah. I talked to Elizabeth quite a bit about it. She's really still researching what that all means. That doesn't mean that necessarily, no problem, they're going to file it tomorrow, we're going to have an ETF. That's not what that means at all, essentially, to her and her legal mind. And I'm paraphrasing, she isn't with us today. She's put it to the situation where it's like, okay, that appeal that the judge said that they should have rewrote, they decided not to because they didn't want to fight that point. They don't think they could have ever cleared that point up and that was the only problem with them filing a new Grayscale, submitting a brand new, basically, is what they're going to have to do with the adjustments made to where it'll clear everything up for everybody. I know that wasn't very clear, stated very clearly, but what it all means is going forward, we're going to have a spot ETF. Does that mean it's going to happen next week? No. It does mean that it could potentially happen before the end of the year, though. I've heard as early as 90 days, 60 days, and as late as 120 days. So whatever that means. But there's a straight path to having an ETF, grayscale ETF in the US, spot, which is the key word, right?
Mm-hmm.
There isn't a whole lot of news out there other than that on that subject, because you really need a legal mind. That's where Jimmy Valley would come in handy right now. Jimmy be have. I haven't seen him do anything recently, and I know he's kind of working with Val Hill a lot. So I don't. Hopefully, he's enjoying the rest of what we have left of summer instead of worrying too much about crypto.
Yeah.
But he'd be a great guy to have on, and we will to discuss all that.
Mm-hmm. Or he's busy in the Batcave right now, designing new exciting toys. That would be.
I was just saying.
Jimmy's one I want to keep my eye on, Dad. He's just what he's into, and the things I've heard him say about trusts and future for us, just for people is just as exciting as anything else I hear about. Because we're gonna have to figure out how to channel this and how to use it. When this adoption really takes steam and we really get this snowball rolling down the hill, and people like that who really have vision and understand how all of that works. I'm so glad that he's in our sphere now, and we get to hopefully interview him, and I want to see the two of you open it up, man. I want to see the two of you open it up and go full throttle, Dad.
I can't wait. You know how we all are. Certain people click with us, and certain people resonate, and you get a good vibration from them, and then they'll say something in a manner in which you understand it well. Kind of like you and I do. But like when he speaks, I really listen, and it resonates, and it's so rare for me that I hear somebody that intelligent really resonate with me, because most of those people really, their content just goes completely over my head. Although I love deep content, that's really one of my favorite things.
Mm-hmm.
But he's a lawyer, right? So typically lawyers start into that lawyer speak, and the next thing you know, you're lost. He's not that way. He's very spiritual, very vibrational, very I really want to do a show. I think I've told you guys all this. I'm going to do a show with him where he and I don't even talk about crypto. So that's coming. But he's on the team staple crew in the sense that he loves our show because we look forward. We're not looking at what happened last week or the news of today necessarily. We're looking at, hey, where are we all going? How are we all going to make money? How are our lives going to be better with these products in which we look for each day to find new ones? Not just the coins we have, the new projects and the new AI and other things coming out that are going to not just financially reward us all, help us fix the low-lying issues that our economy has created through this false and fake monetary system, basically, that has enslaved the lower half. And that's really what we look at. And that's what Brent and I really want to do, is help everybody understand the basics of it and how we can not do that again next time.
Yeah.
Or water it down.
Yeah, I've stepped in a few traps, and it's just gonna continue to happen with exchanges we use, wallets we use, cryptos companies that aren't the real deal. So we got to watch out. We have a common question in the chat, Dad.
Oh boy,
I really liked your take
hopefully
on that.
you can answer it.
So the question, Sean put it really well. What's your thoughts? Everything going on with ETH, Where do you see that story going? Also, your thoughts on timing with the XRP ledger, looking to have smart contracts and be EVM compatible.
Yes.
I wrote two things down this week. I wrote a number one and number two, so I was trying to plan out a short idea for the channel. The first was, it's not enough that you just make the Bitcoin. And the second idea was, Ethereum revolutionizes the world? Question mark. I think when I first heard about Ethereum, I heard about it from my dad, and he spoke on it very passionately because we all saw, the need. Bitcoin, really the only knocks on Bitcoin are speed and transactions rates, and it serves a certain purpose. It's not this universal multi-tool Swiss Army knife. I think a lot of us are hoping that enough money is going to funnel into it to where we're not even going to want to trade it or sell it. We're going to want to collateralize it and things like that. And so when Ethereum came along, and what I remember you describing to me, Dad, and it stuck. It was like, man, this is the future of how it's all going to work. And yes, like it is like the first, and what happens usually to the first thing or the first person that runs through the wall? It gets bloodied. Hopefully it, does all the right things and makes all the right connections. And it feels like with Ethereum, it's kind of done it in reverse. I feel like they swung a little too big. They swung for the fence too early, and so you get this radical price to purchase it, and then you get all this usage on it. So now the fees are higher, and it's just, can there be an equal type operating system and bridges to all of it, to where we can get, say, XRP ledger talking to the EVM? I hope so. Do you know the answer to that, Dad? Where they're at with that? That is something.
Yeah, I'm gonna address their question directly, because I've been looking into this quite a bit recently, and I think what they're talking about, I don't think they're talking big picture here with that question about Ethereum. I think they're talking about what's going on right now.
Yeah, it sounds like that.
And what's going on right now is there's a lot of what you just said, Brent, is very accurate about the painting a picture of what Ethereum is and how it got started and who they made some very critical mistakes because they lost a big team member or two, Charles Hoskins and two or three other guys, and they sort of broke the band up. And when they did, they actually needed more funding than everybody thought they needed. Well, when they did all that, they were all sort of starving artists or starving band members. So they made some big critical mistakes, and those mistakes are starting to come out to light. And those mistakes, in my opinion, were they got in bed with JP Morgan and two or three other little companies that are going to come out that are bigger than people know. That I'm only guessing on those two because I've only seen documents and somebody else's material, so I don't know that for sure. And then if you look at the period of time in which he spent in China, I think he spent it's like a year, something like that, over a year. It could have been 2 or 3 years. He was in Vitalik Buterin was in China working out deals, and everybody was like, what the hell is he doing over there? Like, why is he working with them? But a lot of people have to remember where crypto was back then was the Chinese were a lot more into it. The American government and American banking didn't know much about it. But let me backtrack to JP Morgan now. JP Morgan was getting their tails kicked, okay, as Caldwell Banker got involved too. I don't know if you guys remember all that. Okay, those guys got involved, and also Goldman Sachs. This is totally off topic. Did you guys just see the report where Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan they both have over 100 employees just in their crypto divisions? That just came out last weekend at a Vegas show.
Wow.
Over 200 employees. And for those companies, that doesn't sound like a lot of employees, but with animation, with AI, and with all the robotics and everything that those companies have now, that's a lot of staff. Okay, they came out basically were very proud of it in a statement, and everybody in the room was like, "Oh, I thought you weren't even involved in that stuff. What are you talking about?" Anyway, that kind of, and everybody only heard that sentence, like, "Wow, you've had a lot of staff." So all the follow-up questions were like, "Well, how long have you had the staff? How many of those people were on the staff? How many years?" So anyway, that was interesting over the weekend. So I think the question is, do I believe Ethereum's corrupt? Yeah, I believe it's corrupted. I believe almost all of these big projects are corrupted in one way or another. That's pretty much been the premise of my show from day one. There's at least three large sanctions at the top of the central banking, globalist, WEF, whatever you would like to call all of that wheel. There's three groups up there, and they're always at each other, and they're trying to outcompete each other for this network, this platform, or this platform. And what JP Morgan in particular, working with them, so is Goldman's working with ETH as well. So a lot of the XRP people have really followed this ETHgate deal. DAI's really been all over it. A few other people. I really don't watch his show very much, but I know a lot of people get their questions and their content from that. But and also Brad Kine's show as well. But where was it going? Oh, they have proven to me that they've been given favoritism time and time and time again. And for no good apparent reason that anybody can even figure out. So that is both a good thing and a bad thing. And I'm going to tell you why that's a good thing. Because that means the system, if you will, is okay with crypto going forward as a mechanism. Bad thing is it'll never get investigated. You're going to spend the rest of your life being miserable listening to people tell you that those people are corrupt. Of course. I could go further down this, but I'd rather do that in my Patreon to get any deeper about that. Because I could really go off on some of the players involved, but I'm not going to do that right now. Because
some of those were brought up in the chat for you, Dad. So that's good.
Oh, good.
Yeah. The crew.
So I think that's the question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it. Welcome to the chat.
I didn't mean to be so broad, but I can't give everybody both barrels, so I'll be bounced off this live stream.
Yeah, I didn't mean to go super broad either. There's something too about that, what you just said, Dad, where it's just kind of like I'm trying to have the feeling, and there's so many projects attached to Ethereum now.
Yep.
That it's a huge part of the ecosphere. And then, I'm always a little worried about them. I'm always a little worried about stable coins. I'm always a little worried about how the big players are going to, is it going to be a ETF or is it going to be a spot ETF? Is it gonna, are people gonna get it fast enough that they're gonna be the owners of it? or are they going to be the people who are not the custodians of it? So those are
Yeah.
that's kind of my trifecta of man, I hope we get this right. And I love that there are companies and altcoins, and you mentioned Charles Hoskinson who started Cardano, and that's a project that my dad and I have been very, very bullish on. Because we need the opposite of like what I was saying. We need somebody to start ground level, build it out the right way globally,
Yeah.
and then have even more incentivized, have even more, and with the advancements and all of it, I feel like it's all just going to get better and better. So just because
Yeah.
a company starts now, or, it started 2 years ago, not, 12, 15 years ago, like Bitcoin and Ethereum, like there can be advantages to that. People
Oh,
like us who really want to see a more decentralized network, more fair. I was just reading a cool story about Jared Tate, and when they put
Digibyte.
Digibyte on the market, he only bought 1%, and he bought 1% off of the market, what the people were buying it at. And
Smart.
so it's like there are those people out there, I think, like all of us, that are innovators and want to see this thing work out. And that gives me hope. I
It
stop
does.
worrying about the three things I just described, and I start thinking about hope. There will always be corruption in all of it. Always.
Oh, big time.
Always.
And it's really hard for me because I know a lot about corruption, and I don't really like to live in that world too much because it's not our future. Corruption's everywhere and it's all the time. Okay? Just let's start there. So it doesn't matter who's corrupt and, we need to find the bad guys and the corrupt guys because they're all corrupt. Okay? So let's just start with that premise. And if you think your coin, and I don't care what coin you own, isn't corrupted in some manner or another, but you're just being blind to your own, you're listening to your own people. You're not being very objective if you think that, your company or the people that created your company isn't connected to one group of the three that I just talked about at the top. They simply are, and they will be, and totally decentralized system is what we need and what we want. But it's funny, I did a video a while back, and you guys probably remember it, and I talked about I don't want any regulation at all. None. I don't want regulation. And oh my God, the people that came in were just blew me up and like, what are you talking about, Alan? That just leads to corruption. Excuse me? No, it's the exact opposite way around. Okay? If as soon as the translation, I used to use this one a lot. The translation in public or government speak to regulation translates, okay, in Congress to corruption. Regulation actually means corruption. When we can regulate something, that means we can corrupt it. We can infiltrate it. We can create rules. We can harness it. We can make it play within our game. And that game has to be within our governance. That's what regulation means. Regulation never means you're not going to lose your coins. It never means that. Okay? I'm just sorry to tell everybody because they think, oh, well, it's like a guarantee on a box, like, oh, it's been regulated. I'm safe. I'm good to go. No, that's not what that word means. Never has, never will. Again, I'm going to bring this up. Bernie Madoff was on the regulatory committee. He was on the damn committee. Hello?
Yeah.
Come on, right? Look who was connected to scam bankman fraud.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the connections that are coming out between him and Mr. Burns. It's like they were connected, right?
Yeah.
And who was talking about regulation? scam, bank man, fraud right before he got popped. People say, "Oh, we need regulation." Anyway, I don't know why I got on that tangent.
My whole beginning, my whole introduction to economics in my life, everybody really was the crash, 07, 08, and it came from the opposite problem, where there was regulation created to actually protect the people, to actually enclose them. Okay, or like Dad was saying, like regulation bad because now you can't go run wild in nature and make your own communities and do things the way that you want to do them. But then there's the opposite where it's like, well, there's predators out there and we got to build this little enclosure for you so that the predators don't come and get you. Well, what happened? Deregulation. They took all those walls and borders down, and now we're the curious little squirrels running around the woods, and there's this 10-foot long ball python slithering our direction. And it's just
That's right.
It's just not like
No.
both sides. We need extreme caution. And I think it really bodes well to blockchain for me because it's this opportunity. And I wrote up this long thing to tell you guys, it's essentially if when gold essentially became the most valued, treasured asset, it became the thing when it wasn't rocks and seashells and whatever else was being used all over the world. But like when that happened, and then people needed more speed, right? They needed to be able to do things faster. They needed to be able to transact more. So you put your gold in all of the banks. So gold goes into the banks, and then we get, okay, now you've got this paper, this fiat currency where you get to take that out and do your transactions with that. It's much faster. And so you're putting your gold in the bank. There's a money amount and it's on a ledger, right? And let's just go back when there was a gold standard and we weren't printing the tar out of money in all of our respective countries. That movement, that time, like I was watching a video and thinking about all this, you guys, and it just hit me. It was like the exact same thing is happening now. So we went off gold standard. We printed the poo-poo out of money, or I'm sorry, fiat currency. And then, you come back to a place where finally the technology is good enough. We all either have a phone in our hand or a computer or access to said computer or phone in, most of the world. And now we've come back to, okay, yeah, we actually do like the theories and the security of gold and what it means and its intangibles.
Yeah.
Now that was born onto the internet, onto code, and then we're all starting to understand what blockchain is, which is a ledger. And it's just all like it's like this cycle. All of a sudden I saw it, I was like, wow, okay. And I kind of knew all that already, guys, but it was like like it's literally restarting, but it has the chance to be in ways uncorruptible, to where we've allowed this regulatory systems, this deregulation of things to corrupt it. And this is different. It's a whole different animal because you can't print Bitcoins. You can't print them. It's like you can't print chicken.
No.
What were you thinking?
You can't print XRP either. Like,
no.
Well, there's a really cool, I can't remember who put it out, but it was years ago they put it out. It was such a great timeline. And it essentially was gold, okay, and gold by foot. Okay, that's how fast gold could move. And then it went by horse, and then it essentially went by wagon train to a ship to a shore. And then it went to, from the big acceleration, I want to say it was probably in the 1800s, don't quote me on that, the telegraph. The telegraph was like kind of where we're at right now with blockchain. It's like all of a sudden the whole world could get it. Like you could wire somebody saying, I want to buy that for this. I'll get the gold to you later. I want to buy it right now with a telegraph. Pretty quick, right? So we went from there to there. So gold accelerated with it, with what? Technology. Every time technology went further and further. But a lot of people, this is a huge one. This is what most people don't know about what happened in 08 and 09. And I'm so glad you brought all this up, Brent, because it's that timeline.
Yeah.
The biggest reason why XRP can be considered a monetary digit around the world with perfect security on a blockchain was one thing. And it was technology had accelerated. I was telling you all the way all the way up to one thing. And that was we needed now to be now everywhere in the world. You had to believe in an atomic clock what time it was in Amsterdam or in California at the same damn time. Computer technology had not gotten to that point yet. And it wasn't until we actually got a clock and an internet that could go light speed around the world to now, that you could document this person purchased this coin at that time and it was stamped, sealed, and in the block. And then once it was verified, it was done. That person owned it. But you can't agree upon that if everybody doesn't know what time it is. You can't. No computer is good. That way you could go back and change the time in it anytime you wanted.
Right.
That was huge. That's when crypto had the ultimate security, safety going almost forever. It was big. That was a big one.
Yeah, that's huge.
And there were two coins around. There were two coins, by the way. There was XRP and there was Bitcoin. And that's why this show covers both of them.
Yeah.
I don't believe in one more than the other. Well, that's not true. I think one has a brighter future than the other in the short term, for sure. And that would be XRP. I think XRP digitally. Oh my God, I got to address this. Right before it went live, this Jason, God, I think he's up in Nova Scotia somewhere. Jason, if you're in the live chat, brother, sorry, I can't remember exactly where you live. Eastern Canada, somewhere up in there.
Nova Scotia.
He sent me the cool. Yeah, okay, cool. He sent me this short little 1-minute video this guy did bagging on XRP, and it was going semi-viral that, oh, Ripple just basically contracts these deals with the media, and then the media promotes the coin, they sell more coins, and then they just create more, because what do we launch, like $1 billion XRP launches $1 billion a week? Was it $1 billion a week? I can't remember now. They launch more coins to pay for Ripple. Sorry, Ripple launches $1 billion XRP coins to pay for, buying things, buying networks, working with banks and institutions. What that person in that 1-minute video forgot to mention was just last week or 2 weeks ago now that Singapore just decided they're going to build their entire financial monetary system around Bitcoin and Ripple. He forgot to bring that up in the video. He says, it's just a Ponzi. They're just selling these coins to just, scam everybody. There's no real use case for it going forward. Anyway, he's free to put out there on the web whatever he wants to put. He's either really, really stupid about Ripple, very uninformed, or he's doing it intentionally. I'm going with the
betting on intentionally.
He has to be.
It's the same.
Yeah.
We just talked about this history, Dad, which essentially involves banking, right? The banks come into existence because we're the people. We're willing to put our shillings into the banks, and trust them. And nobody says this more than my father does, and I love it. And it just rings beautiful and true inside my mind. What if they innovated in the last, I don't know, let's just say 50 years? What if they actually innovated? Not much. Not much. When you look at the spectrum of what banking institutions have created, and then you think about the legacy money and the people like this guy who are, slamming it. Why are you even bothering to slam it? That's what I don't get about these media people that are throwing crypto under the bus. It's like, do you understand what it even is? And so that's what you said, Dad. It's like either one, they haven't researched it and they're kind of riding their ignorance out about it, or they've got skin in the game. They're one of the old legacy woolly mammoth saber-toothed tigers that are still running around doing the same thing. Same thing works, but I think we all, if you're in this group and you watch our channel, I think you all understand that this is it's very interesting time of, all this debt creation and all this inflation and all this, regulation on things like after the fact, when it's like, oh man, I was just researching about the real estate market and just trying to wrap my head around all of that. What's going on? There's a bunch of regulation being created for Airbnbs and VRBOs. And so did those people who bought those homes, like I'm not saying it hasn't affected the rental process and all that. I've seen that happen in my hometown where I grew up, how that has radically shifted the rental process. But the point being is that smart or beneficial of the system to regulate something and change something after all of these people have made the investment of getting a home with usually the sole purpose of making positive cash flow on said home and being able to pay off their other mortgage and that one? Yeah. What is that? What is that type of regulation? And are you really advancing anything?
We know the answer to that.
There's 1,000 examples, and I'll bet each and every single person in here has an example just like that of, man, how do you catch a break? How do we win?
You bring up a really good point, Brent, because this is my biggest point when I listen to, we went to the Silver Symposium a couple of weekends ago. Mm-hmm. And whenever I hear these people talk, and I don't mean to alienate them for any other way, because they're brilliant people and they know what they're talking about. And yes, they understand Austrian economics. They understand sound money really, really, really well. Mm-hmm. Where they miss the big picture, and I mean it's the big picture, is the people they hold accountable aren't accountable for anything. They simply change the rules to their needs and look you straight in the face and say, no, that's just what we're going to do. no matter if it's legal, whether it makes sense, whether the Federal Reserve even has the legal rights to do so, they're going to change the rules of the chessboard every single day to keep themselves from swinging from a noose. That's just simply what they're going to do. And if you were in their shoes, you'd do the same. That's the whole game. And when all of us, because you and I, we don't understand that. We have to pay our rules. A man with a gun comes and says, get out of the house. You and your kids get the hell out. You're out on the street. Well, those kind of rules don't apply to those people. They just change the rules. Oh, well, let's see, inflation is how much? We'll just take a couple of zeros off something. Just, or let's not count the stuff that went up so much. They're going to manipulate. They're going to flood the market with money when they need to, and they're going to pull it all back when they can. And that's where the game in which they're going to play. Now, this real estate mess, what most people, I dare anybody to go online and just go to Zillow or whichever one you look at, right? And just look at the ones that are Airbnb, because it's massive. I don't care what town you're in. It's in every town, every city in North America, and globally, basically at this point, right? Mm-hmm. So, and everybody says, "Oh, there's no homes on the market." It's, well, these Airbnbs aren't making any money anymore. Their profits have declined for over a year now, and it's getting cutthroat. So these people my age and older are like, you know what? I'm just tired of dealing with it. I'm just going to put it on the market. Well, when that starts happening more and more, they are going to flood the market, because what's happening is nobody has the money to go on vacation right now. So all these Airbnbs are like, they're empty. So, okay, well, you know what, Martha? Let's just get the hell out of them. Or we don't need 8. Let's get down to 1 or 2, our favorite 2. Let's sell the other 6. That, if everybody says, oh, there is no banking or real estate bubble, that's your bubble right there. There's your bubble. And if that baby pops, boy, I don't know. I mean, don't get me wrong, resort towns like Vegas and the town that Brent's talking about where he grew up, a ski resort, you're going to be fine with the Airbnb. If there's reasons for people to go stay at the beach house or something, you're going to be fine. It's all those other ones that thought they were going to get rich by buying an Airbnb.
And there's also the thought out there too, Dad, where I'm with you. Everybody go look it up on Zillow and see how many are in your town, in your area. I mean, it's a ton. It's amazing. There's also the theory out there that it's still not as significant a number of home ownerships to where it would, like, that in itself would swing the whole market. It would. I mean, it clearly, when you break it down, it would, but I don't think in a domino effect like we saw before. That I'm guessing will be that and other factors that come into play. And you hit on it, Dad. I mean, it's like, look at how much we're paying in every day. You know, groceries are going up, fuel's going up, the cost of, construction, labor, materials, just the not being able to, build houses. We're starting to hear that of, like, these whole projects are being abandoned because is it going to be worth the cost to even construct it? Yeah. When it's finished in 6 months. So we'll see. We will see.
Gonna be, we live in interesting times for sure.
Yeah.
I had a question, was in my last video. And I thought I'd address that real quick. Mm-hmm. People are really confused about bonds, and I know it's a boring subject, but I got to clear this up, okay? When you have a long bond, okay, you have short bonds and long bonds, right? You have in 10 years, what we're going to call in the middle. You have a 2-year bond, you have a 10-year, and you have a 30-year. Okay. The long bond is the government bonds of each country. Okay. So always remember that. And what you need to keep interest rates down and low is people buying your long bonds, not the 2-year bond, and by the way, real estate's predicated on the 10-year bond. Okay. Not a 30-year bond. I know it's a 30-year mortgage for a lot of people, but it's not predicated. That's not where the numbers come from. Okay. So when a country, let's say the US, and they other countries start selling, sorry, the cat's back. They start selling your long bond, it gets real expensive really fast. And your interest rates climb, and they climb very quickly. Okay. That's what's happening right now. So in my opinion, they're losing control of interest rates. We think Jay Powell's in control of the whole thing. I just explained 10 minutes ago that they're not in control of any of this stuff. They're winging all of it. And they just see new numbers and they're like, well, we better respond to this, or we better fix that, or let's change the law to make this new or this different. And that's what they're doing. And it's what they're going to do. And I'm not alone in this theory. And I'm just going to paint this real quick. They're going to make pensions. 2 videos ago, if you guys haven't seen it, it's a really important video. 2 videos ago, I said, okay, that Tether coin was buying US treasuries. And the reason why they're doing that, okay, is to keep the feds off their back. They're allowing these people to do this, okay, so that they can stay in business, but yet they're supporting the US dollar. So it came out that they have $90 billion in US treasuries, okay? Cat wants a little bit of attention here. They have 90 billion and they're adding about $1 billion a week. The US is not going to come crash down that coin. They're not going to do that. They would be cutting their own throats. Nobody else in the world is buying their damn fake paper. They're just not. I don't know what her deal is. Sorry, guys. But nobody else is buying their fake paper. Okay? And this is getting crazy because who's the buyer of last resort? The pensions. You're going to have to buy the damn thing. But the pensions, you and I, we'd rather buy XRP or whatever coin you like. And this is the big debate. That's why I did 2 videos about it. Are they going to make you buy bonds, or are you going to be allowed to buy an ETF with your pension fund? That's the big picture, guys. That is a big picture going between now and the next 6 months. Nobody's talking about that.
Mm-hmm.
She just bit me. Did you guys see that? Oh,
what a rascal.
God, she bit me with the chin.
Yeah, I mean, that's, to me, I wrote that down as the enchilada. That's the enchilada for between, you said 2 months to 6 months? It's the enchilada, folks, because go look back at the gold chart. The gold chart, when it got its ETF, it went boom. It go big boom.
Yeah.
And why? Because what you're talking about, Dad, because pensions run into it, and investing, and all this money that's been on the outside, just sitting around on the outside. And we're all wondering, we're sitting here like, wow, why is XRP still at 50 cents? How is that even possible? Because all the money is still out here and it's not in crypto yet. But when it goes in to this, and what the beauty of a spot ETF, where there hopefully will be knowledge, and there'll be people like us that are like, okay, make sure that it's yours, make sure it's your keys, that it'll be a twofer. it'll be a twofer for us.
Super.
It'll be all the side money coming in, and it'll be people actually owning it and understanding it, and we're the ones really generating and benefiting from it. And it'll be interesting, like Dad, you and I've talked about it a little bit, but I'm curious to learn how to benefit from both. You know, if you're going to invest in the ETFs, you know, what it's, you know, how to come by them, you know, what that looks like versus me just holding Bitcoin in a private wallet.
I personally don't advise it, and not that I'm giving financial advice, because we know that, you know,
no, we would never.
But we and I'm not even laughing about that.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. I'm going to bring this up again. Are cryptos financial? Are they financial assets? So I got a question. I mean, are they? Supreme Court, are they? Gary Gensler, are they financial assets? He won't answer that question, right? So why can't I give advice about buying crypto? If it's not deemed a financial asset, I'm not giving financial advice. Does anybody make sense of that? Anyway, I didn't mean to correct. Okay. To answer that question, I wouldn't. And here's why. And here's the big reason why. First of all, the latecomers, and we already know who they are. It's basically everybody that's in this chat's talked to, all your family members, everybody you work with, and everybody on your block thinks you're an idiot already. Okay. Well, we know who the latecomers are going to be. They're the sheep. Okay. The sheep are going to get slaughtered. They're not going to get slaughtered. They're going to make money. Okay. Because let's say the guy drives for UPS, your neighbor. He's a UPS driver. So his pension is now soon going to be buying ETFs, crypto ETFs. And then what's he going to turn around and do? He's going to go to Fidelity because he thinks he's a big time investor, and he saw that it already doubled in price, and he's going to quadruple it. It's going to go 10x, and he's going to get rich. So he's going to go to Fidelity, and he's going to buy a paper product, essentially being sold to him, which is not the real coins like you and I, because he doesn't know the damn difference, because he hasn't spent the last 2 to 5 years like the rest of us have studying what we own and knowing why it's important to own your own keys. Okay, that's what he doesn't know. So whenever they want to do, like they did the real estate bubble, like they did the .com bubble, whenever they want to kick that final leg out of the stool, he's the guy who gets crushed. The pensions are always the ones that get crushed. Okay, always. They pay the piper. Okay, then what happens? Once they crush that market, they buy it again at the bottom, and they wait for the cycle to come back, and they sell it back again. Then they're going to tell everybody, well, that's just crypto. Crypto's every 4 years. Well, you and I already know that. You and I already know when to buy and when to sell. So don't buy a paper product if you can hold it on your own wallet, cold storage. In my opinion, you're too smart for that already. You guys already probably already know all that. But if you're going to advise your family and they come to you and they say, hey, I don't know anything about this. I don't even know what a laptop is, and I don't even want to deal with it. How do I buy it? Well, then you could recommend them, if you're going to own the coin for 10 years, not 10 months, 10 years, and it's a 5 to 10 year investment, then you could give them advice, because even if they bought at the top, they're probably going to do fine.
Yeah. That's what I was trying to get at with that, Dad. Yeah. Hey, everybody, no paper derivative Bitcoin. Okay, real Bitcoin. Real Bitcoin.
Satoshis.
Yes. Yes.
I don't know that we have any.
Man, we got Cryptic Gamer, man. Much love. Sending all kinds of good comments today. Cody's in the chats. Randall, you made me laugh. Mr. Shigadance, I told you I'm on a very big case right now. Okay, I'm on the hunt looking for this missing bird. When I find that bird, you're paid.
Yeah,
That
you're not going to sell them the bird with the duct tape around its neck, are you?
Oh, that's yeah, we were talking first Ace Ventura.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Remember the
Got
guy
it.
that
Oh,
said,
that
"What's
bird.
all this pet
Yeah.
food for?" Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's Petey the
Yeah. It's on
uh-huh.
PD.
Yeah.
Uh,
Don't hey everybody, don't let them sell you Petey, okay?
no,
Don't
no.
let them sell you Petey. It's just not
Pretty
that ain't
bird.
it. You want a true albino pigeon, okay? You don't want Petey. That's not it, man. Don't be the blind kid. Don't
No,
do it.
don't do it. That brings up an interesting question. How do blind people buy crypto? Ooh, that
Great
might be
question.
that might be a little tricky. You'd have to have somebody you trust.
Yes.
Then it's no longer trustless. Oh no, maybe you could do it with Braille. I don't know. It's a very good. I don't know where my mind came up with that one. I'm sorry.
That is, I never thought of that. And I'm so sorry to that community because we're
Yeah.
on here talking to a lot of people. We should get into that, Dad. Um, I'm gonna look and see if there's stuff going on for that.
Um, what do you got for questions in there, Brent? There's so much
Um,
going on right now with XRP. I've got like 3 XRP videos coming out, guys.
we keep getting this one. Just the general Northern Living sent this to us. That's the real question. Do you sell in the next bull run, then hope to buy back next winter, or just hold throughout indefinitely? Um, that's kind of always the big question.
That's a great question. First of all,
We're all seeing different numbers, right? It's like, okay,
yeah,
it's going to go to next run next year $16. Next run next
yeah.
year $1,000. Okay, well, let's just speak to XRP.
My okay.
Um, Go ahead, Dad.
Oh, go ahead. Are you good?
Yeah, yeah.
I
So
okay.
it's
I always go back to the same thing.
mhm.
Whatever your number is that's going to change your life, okay? And I mean significantly, right? Change it. Change your life. If that's really why you got into this, and I'm not trying to even say sell all of it because none of us really know where the top is, okay?
Right.
But like if you can sell, I've had this conversation with so many different people, but Sean comes to mind. And
Mhm.
Sean's probably in there. But what happens is when you could sell like 25% and it says you're debt free or you're paid your house off or allowed you to buy a house or whatever it might be that changes your life or allows you to start that business that you always wanted to do or to double the size of your current business or hire employees to make it easier upon you. If you can sell 25% of your bag to make those massive changes in your life, that's the number you're looking for. I'm not here telling you $5 or $8 or $50. I'm telling you to look for that 25% to 50% mark that if you sell that many coins and it significantly makes your life better in a big way, you don't ever let that opportunity go away, is what I'm trying to say, because it could go back down the other side. And then the next thing you know, you didn't make a big, significant change in your life. So
Yeah.
that's really my hard, fast rule with self.
Mhm.
Then I could get into an hour and a half long video about how old are you, how much money do you have, how many cryptos do you have, what's your job situation, what do you own, what's your tax bracket, what country do you live in. All of those are massive. Those are big questions. And every one of you listening doesn't have the same answers. Like none of you are in the same. I can't pigeonhole you guys like that. And I see these YouTube channels do it all the time. Oh no, well you got to do it like this and this and that. It's like not if you're 80 or if you're 18. Those aren't the same deal. Not the same deal. But I love the question. I think we're going to really know. I really think we're going to know when we're at the top. I think any time that Bitcoin gets over 100 grand, we're going to be like, you wouldn't be a bad place to sell if it gets there.
Yeah. And I see this question a lot, and I see those two specific numbers a lot. Today, look at what you all have and make a plan. It's like Dad said, we're not fortune tellers. None of us are. We can look at trends, we can look at markets, we can be happy with hodling and being patient. But it feels better to make a plan on it. And then you don't get into a place where you start getting greedy. You don't get in a place where you start, getting too conservative. You have a plan, you have the numbers written out. Okay, it gets to here. Like Dad was saying, maybe I want to offload 25%. Maybe I want to, maybe I want to keep hodling. That's okay. Cool. Do it. But today, while we're sitting right here just being patient, totally, it makes me feel better personally to make a plan. And then I feel like I'm in control of what I can do, like you were saying, Dad, for what I need to do to create my security. And it is individual. It's personal on that.
And notice what I said there, okay? Because probably a lot of people missed it, but it's a really important fact. I'm not talking about selling it just to put it in the bank. That's not what I'm talking about. Now, our buddy Sean in particular, I don't want to talk too much about his financial situation, but some people's big dream or whatever it is with 25% of the money is just to take a world tour and just screw off for a year or whatever. Fun, right? I mean, that sounds like fun too. I highly recommend that. That's one you need to try, at least if you haven't tried that one in your life.
I highly recommend it, everybody.
Yeah. But see, that's what I mean. There's half the people in here is like thinking, I would never do that. I don't care how much money I got. And where the other half is like, dude, that sounds like the best idea I've ever heard. So everybody's got a different plan. Yeah. Game-changing money should never be left in the bank because it's going to get inflated away. It just is. And we all know that by now, I hope, if you're in this group.
Yeah.
But there's so many neat things. I've got a lot of plans. They're all in my head, and I've written a bunch of it down. But when the bull comes, we're going to be in a whole different place. I just saw it. I didn't watch the video, but I just saw where Lewis did a video on what to do when you want to sell your crypto. I haven't seen it yet. I don't know that I will see it, but he usually has some really pretty good ideas. He's connected to a lot of really good people, so I'm sure it's a great video. Yeah, that might be worth a watch. Somebody asked me this question. I'm going to answer it real quick because we tried to answer it before. If I watch any YouTube about crypto, or let's say about XRP, I watch Lewis's channel, not in any particular order. I listen to Brad a lot. Okay, if I want the morning's news, I listen to Brad Kine's show. So Lewis, Brad, Zach, Rector. I used to listen to a lot more of Zach. I don't really follow too much of his stuff anymore. Not because it isn't brilliant content. So many of those shows are talking about the news, and I don't really follow the daily news all that much. And DAI's show's brilliant. I used to listen to The Bull. People were asking me about XRP channels that I really like, and those are kind of the ones that I have watched. I've never watched any of those channels maybe more than once a week, maybe. Yeah. I probably should more than I do, but so much of it, I'm going to go back into this. I don't like listening to the news because when shows report on what the news is of the day, that news has been released. I was going to put it like that. That's stuff they want you to know. Well, why do they want you to know that? Like, who are they? Or like, you're just playing their game by having that emotional response, good or bad, about what that news is. And then you're now their mental slave. So in other words, I don't like to occupy that stuff in my space. My space is a little more valuable to me than that. So that's when I say, be careful who you watch and who influences your day, and because it does change us. It really does.
Yeah. I feel all news agitates you about the past.
Yeah.
The past. It's like you said, Dad. If you're seeing it now, it's there might be, it might be a live thing, but usually it's just talking about what's happened and a bunch of talking heads chirping about it, which we're kind of that too, but we're on the
Sure.
love train. We're on the love train, baby. And
Yeah.
this is our agenda, folks, is that we
We're
all
going
do
to.
well and we all care about each other, and that's just who we are. And who we're
When
always going
you're
to
rich,
this channel's always going to be.
yeah.
I'm the way that I am. I'm lucky enough to have somebody like my dad in my life who just is that guy, and so it's easy. And so I want to be on here with him. I want to be on here with you. I want to see how we all make this happen.
Yeah.
And when we make it happen, the people around us will see it.
Oh yeah.
And some people now, they couldn't care less what any of this is. We just
No.
all, we're geeking out on it for so many different reasons. You're in this chat today because you understand what blockchain is, and you
Yeah.
understand that
You're way ahead.
you're way
You're way
ahead.
ahead of the clown.
This is just the beginning.
The other thing is when you do start doing really well, this is gonna be a good hang. You're gonna want to know people like Brent and myself and some other people that you probably follow as well, that are just people that they're going to make it financially, but it's not going to ruin them for who because they're grounded in who they are, and they're bigger than crypto, and they're bigger spiritually and mentally, and they're stronger than finance. And those are going to be the people that all these relationships that you've made through this bear market are going to make you a better human being. That's really the key here, guys. It's not just about buying a Ferrari or a Lambo. It's about, I was patient. I understood the technology. I was a pioneer. I was ahead of the curve. I saw where the puck was going, and I went there. And I was smart enough to know, and I had enough logic in my mind to say, okay, how do I get this to fail? And then once you calculate that a million times over, you're like, it's not going to fail, it's going to succeed. And then the whole world starts coming to where you're at, and then you're financially rewarded. You're going to want to be a spiritual leader within your family and the people around you, because they're going to look up to you because you're now going to be the wealthy or the well-off person, and they're going to need you. They're going to ask you how to be a better human being just because our society thinks that people with money are smarter. And I don't know why, but they do. Yeah. So
Yeah.
hope that makes sense.
Yeah.
Sorry,
And we're
guys, I got to do something real quick.
we're gonna be there to we're gonna say those people. Yeah, I'm with you, Dad, and it's
Yeah,
just it's wonderful. I think it'll be fun for all of us in here. Should we hit some really fun bull run, or there's great adoption, or the ETFs take off the way we think they're all going to, like where one of these big things happens, and any time in your life where you get a big paycheck, or you get a little extra cushion, or something, just anything, could be anything exciting or big works out for you. You get the juice. You just get the juice. You get momentum, and then keep that momentum going. And we're going to be doing this show for a long time, and we're going to be doing meetups, and we're going to be traveling to Vegas next year, and to other places hopefully in the future, and someday doing a fun trip with everybody. And we just it's all about going to those places and having big conversations with people about everything. And it's so fun, and we all have so much to gain from each other.
we get to talk about right now, what are you going to do with your money when you get it? And then we're going to be able to talk about, well, what'd you do with your money? Those are two totally different conversations. Yeah. That's the opposite side of the bull on that one there. Like, oh, dude, man, I can't believe I let another bull market go by and I didn't sell anything. Like, I'm not going to have that one again. I've had a couple of those. Yeah. But yeah, Vegas.
Not too many rock star stories,
Yeah, Vegas is going to be fun, man. I'm telling you, I'm going to be there. If Brad will have us all, we're going to be there like a week. I want to say I'm planning this out now, and yeah. So
wow.
Some people are trying to hook me up. They know who they are, with Brad Kynes, and I'm going to try and plan. Brent and I have some really big ideas about some stuff we want to do in Vegas that week. So that's going to be fun, guys. I want to say it was in May last year, right? So don't miss
it's gonna
that.
Be right around the happening. Woo!
Yeah. Save your money now, because that's a fun trip. It really is. Yeah.
Yeah, we would love, man, if some of you in this group, I mean, I know you can't see it, Dad, but on the phone, but man, the comments today, so we really got rambling. We didn't forget about you guys. We love you, and it looks like you're talking amongst each other, which is the best.
Yeah, it is.
What do we got in here?
I got a meetup. I need to do a meetup in like Central Valley of Cali. I really do. I think we're up to like 4 or 5 that are just in our Patreon and our live stream people. That'd be fun.
That would be fun.
Yeah,
Vicky, I want to retire, travel, invest, and help people. Yeah, me too. Me too. That would be it.
I'm doing 2 of those things now.
Yeah.
No, 3. I'm doing all those things right now. It's fun.
Joanna said XRP poker game, question mark. Can you imagine?
That'd be cool.
That would be so cool.
Yeah, it would. Or a poker run. You know what poker runs are? Those are a blast. And there's the cruise ship. We got to do the cruise ship. I think 24 is the big year. I really do. I keep hearing people say 25. It's going to happen before then, I think.
Yeah.
I'm not a prognosticator, but I think it's going to happen before then. There's no way we could go a whole another year with these interest rates and without them printing a ridiculous amount of money. They'll change, like I said, they'll change the rules somehow. They'll just say, oh, no, never mind. You don't need any money down. You don't need anything. You don't even need to make a house payment. Just buy it. You know, they're going to do something, change all of it.
We got some
What do you
cruisers,
got?
we got some poker players. And much love, everybody, today.
Yeah, just don't play against Elizabeth and you'll be fine.
Yeah. I think I've only beat her in like 2 hands ever. And
Right.
we used to play.
Yeah.
2. And it's only because I got tricky with the betting. I had to trap her.
Yeah.
You know, and real poker players don't appreciate that. They don't like that. They think you're a moron, but it's like it's the only way I could win. It's the only way. You know what everything is. I know nothing.
Right. Yeah.
I thought this was fun. Now I lost all my XRP gambling with you fools.
Elizabeth, for those of you who don't know, my wife is like a really good poker player. But when we went to Vegas 2 weeks ago, she played poker, 12 hours, Brent? Every day we were there. Something like that.
12 hours.
Yeah. And she was in, she took, a second or a third and a first.
She got first and a third.
Third, well, yeah, well, I think the third and fourth split the pot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she tied for third.
So think about that, guys. In a weekend, she won a tournament and split the pot in third. Both those are tournaments. It's hard enough just to make the final table. She did it twice. It's crazy. That's a good poker player. That's consistent, what you call consistency.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of love. There's a lot of love in here today.
No good questions?
There aren't a lot of questions.
Good.
Any questions, anybody right now, throw them up. Maybe we'll do another 10, 15 minutes, Dad.
Yeah, sounds good.
Cool. Perfect.
I've got so much I want to talk about with XRP that I want to save it for my videos, but I've got one coming out like Tuesday or something like that, early this week, that I did about crypto, about XRP and money. You guys should check that one out. It was an interesting way of looking at things. Let's see.
Sean asked, Dad, do you know who Ryan Fugger is?
Who?
Ryan Fugger. Is he related to? Is that on the? Is there like? Yeah, I went real broad perspective. Dad brought it down on the Ethereum thing. Is he related? Is he? I don't know who this person is. This has come up twice in the chat, so we'll see.
I'm not hearing the last name real well.
Fugger. I dare not say it, or we may get kicked off. Is this a trick, Sean?
Yeah, right. There's so much going on with XRP right now that is like, I was talking to this guy about it, and I just finally said, okay, well, that's okay that you don't believe in it, okay, but I'm going to put something on you right now, and it goes something like this. I believe in it, I know I've read so much and seen so much, and they've got so many laws in so many countries and so many different things and so many protocols out there, and all of it makes sense to me. And digitally, it's happening. Okay. Now I'm going to put. This is a really good conversation. Unfortunately, I already did a video about it, but anyway, you have to hear it twice. I'm now putting the burden of proof upon them. In other words, I've got all of this. Now I'm going to ask you what I'm putting the burden of proof upon you. Give me the proof that it fails. I just painted all this whole global picture and these financial institutions and all the banks and all the technology and all of it's going there. Now the burden of proof is upon you. You know how you do like debates, right? The other side has to take the coin. Now I'm putting it upon you to explain to me how it would fail. And they just look like they don't even know where to start. Yeah, it's a scam. Well, no, that's not proof. That's the speculation you got there. What else do you got? Oh, well, they're just printing more of them. What's your proof of that? They don't give you any. They don't have any.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just black. It's black market blood money. That's nerds use it. It's a Ponzi scheme. You're looking at them and you're like, what have you been up to for your entire career? Those are the ones you got to watch out for. This guy smashed it on XRP. I'd like to see that video. I'd like to see if it's option 1 or option 2, Dad. Just look right into his eyes, you know?
Yeah.
Like, do you have an ulterior motive here, sir? Or are you just clueless on this whole thing?
Yeah.
Figure this out.
Yeah.
That Ryan person is credited with being the like idea origin creator of Ripple Labs, Dad. So he's kind of a big one.
Yeah. I guess I should know who Ryan is.
Right? Thanks, Ryan.
That's not who I thought. Oh, creator of Ripple Labs. Yeah. Okay. All right. That makes sense.
And I don't know if it's concept or whether he was. I think somebody was saying in here, original Ripple Pay creator, 2004. Thank you, Sean.
Yes. Now I know who he's talking about. He's the guy who essentially started the whole thing, and then when they sold, they gave the XRP tokens to Ripple, correct? He's that guy, I believe.
Do you know who GS Partners is, Dad?
What's that?
Do you know who GS Partners is?
Partners. GS Partners. Yes. Yeah.
Carrie would love it if you spoke to that.
Who?
Carrie. Know anything about them is the question.
Well, we know. Okay. What? I don't want to talk because I don't know enough about them financially, and I don't know enough about them. But I could look into them on a are they financially viable basis. I'm not going to talk about something I don't know whether or not they're, if she's asking, are they sound or are they worthy of investment? I can't answer that. If that's what she's asking.
They're just the first 5 sites looks like it's everybody's kind of questioning, is it a rug pull or not?
Yeah.
And if people are asking that question, definitely look into it.
Yeah. But that's the thing. Whenever I recommend a coin or anything like that, I can't. You know what I'm saying? Like, I
Yeah.
don't run projects. I do know this. There's a lot of people getting involved. The only one that I really, I mean, honestly, guys, the only group of people that I've met that impressed me, and I was like, well, these guys are going places, was Uphold. Those guys got it on an exchange level.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a couple of others too. I mean, there's, Caleb and Brown. I mean, there's a few of them out there that I can actually say, well, nobody saw it coming if they ran off with with all everybody's money. Nobody ever saw it coming. There wasn't any speculation of that. But like in particular, Uphold, the programs that they're doing and the way you and I are going to be able to use money, or should I say, use crypto as money going through some of these, the technology that is coming in that capacity is mind-blowing me right now. That's where my head's at right now. I'm trying to figure out, how do I it's kind of like what I was talking about earlier. When I'm getting out of XRP, I'm purchasing something. Something's going to give me something physical, real, a chicken.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to give me those digits from the Federal Reserve.
Yeah.
I might temporarily use those digits, okay, to pay the house off or pay something else off, or whatever it may be. But I'm not going to sell my coins, for their fake digits. And that's as long as you go from there. It's like I see all these shows and they all come out there and they, oh, okay, well, you should sell at this time. And I always put in the comment, sell for what? Dollars? Pesos? Like, what do you mean sell? Would sell, when you're saying get out of this coin at this time, at this price, what are you saying get into? And they never have an answer. But there are some really sound products out there.
Yeah, that's the challenge, I think, to all of us, Dad, is instead of selling it and potentially paying tax on it and then turning it into, paper confetti money, can we all learn how to use it in this time? Can we go with companies and products and transact with it? And there are companies out there who have done it and are doing it to where you can have the crypto and then you pay your card, you pay with your card and it pays out as money. So those vehicles exist. And
that's right.
And I'm not like a super pro. I mean, I lean back into like, wow, we are still in the beginning because we're not transacting with it like we are with our debit cards and our banks. Like,
Yeah.
But can the challenge crew, can we bring our level up to that? Can we find companies and products that we are trustworthy enough, maybe, to where we're willing to? Yeah.
I've got a few that I've lined up. The thing of it is I don't want to advise anybody to even start considering it. I know Jason and some other people are like, oh, you should do a show about what to sell. Like I just said, Lewis did a show about, what to do with it when you sell.
Mm-hmm.
We're in a bear market, guys. That's like, that's months from now. Okay, you run out of content, maybe, I don't know, but like, that's not something we need to worry about right yet. And what I'm trying to say by that statement, I'm not trying to bag on them at all. What I'm trying to say is these products are being created right now. And all the innovation happens in the bear market. And that show that was just in Vegas, not the coin one, the one that was just this past weekend, man, I was listening to 2 interviews out of that thing, and I was just like blown away what they were talking about. And it all leads to exactly this: what they're going to do with Web3 and how it's simply going to pay you to own the coin. Like, we're getting back to DeFi again, right? Only they got slapped and spanked around a little bit with DeFi, okay? And then now we're going to have ways to where, first of all, let's get back to this one thing. I'm talking about, just do the math on this. DeFi on let's say Cardano, okay? Cardano right now pays you to stake, I think it's like, whatever it is, 5 to 8%, somewhere in there, okay? That might not sound like much when it's at 30 cents, but when you have tens of thousands of those and it's at $300 or $1,000, I'm not saying Cardano's going there. That's not my point. My point, let's just say XRP goes to $50 or $100. Do you know how much money you're going to be able to make with a company like Uphold and some of these other ones that are just going to pay you to own it? Like, the numbers go up because of inflation. Well, what's happening right now? Inflation. Well, when that inflation goes into our assets, those assets, 5 to 10% sounds like a really minuscule thing when you're at 50 cents. But when and then all of a sudden you're, instead of like, oh, well, at 50 cents, at 5%, I am only making, pennies. Instead, you start making $50 a day. That's big. You know what I mean? It starts adding up really quick. And that might not be your only bag. Or you might even have a bigger bag to where it's like, I made $500 every day. Why would you sell it? See what I'm saying? We're equating our financial futures into the monetary digits that it's currently worth. But when you go forward and everybody's looking for a return on their money, okay?
Yeah.
It's going to be huge. It's not going to make dollars and cents to you to sell it. It's sort of like, just think about this guy. I know many of you own Bitcoin, but can you imagine if you bought Bitcoin at $1,000? Does it make sense to anybody watching this right now to sell it for $26,000? Man, I hope it doesn't make sense to you, because why would you do that? We already know all these ETFs are coming. We already know all the bonds are coming. And how many whole coiners are there? How many people own a whole Bitcoin? Not that many. And
No.
people are institutions. If Bitcoin makes it, I know there's a lot of speculation. A lot of people think it's going to zero. I know, I got all that. But what I'm saying is, skip the Bitcoin part. If you're up 27,000 times or 27 times your money, and then money comes to you and says, you have a valuable asset, we'd like to pay you just so that we can hold it in our bank. Those are going to become not banks. Those are going to become Web3 avenues. They're going to become structured, decentralized DAOs, basically, that are going to be completely secure, and you're not going to have to remove yourself from the ownership of your coin. And they're going to pay you a lot of money. And why are they going to pay you a lot of money? Because you were able to buy a lot of them because you bought them at 10 cents and 50 cents, and now they're at $500. Okay? And it's going to be important to own one. And you're going to own thousands of them or hundreds of them. And you're going to be rewarded handsomely. The only reason why I painted in that picture is this. There's never been a financial asset like this. Okay? You can, well, there's been a few, like some of them paid what's called dividends, and I know many of you know that. But there's nothing's going to go up and accelerate in the magnitude that crypto is going to and has already. Nothing's done that before, and not like it's going to. My 2 cents. The
I love
multiples
it,
of
Dad.
massive.
One of the there's like 5 phrases in crypto, right? And there's your keys, your crypto, and then the other big one I always think of is that idea. The big one was I just trying to think of um you becoming your own bank. You
Yeah,
becoming your own bank. And a lot of us, Dad, like me, like I before I understood what blockchain was and the future and promise of, we'll just say, all the altcoins and everything and Bitcoin, that I never even thought about that. I never even conceived of that. Of
yeah,
me, yes, conceived of having different types of assets, but nothing like this. Nothing
yeah,
quite like this. Like that history that I was talking about earlier, which is kind of again wrapping our heads around what happened with gold, what happened to create banking systems, and then this cycle, and then to have a product that is gold, it is fast, it is
yeah,
digital, it is borderless, and the philosophy and psychology are wrapped around it and it's built inside of the code is, I think, for the homers like me, are to keep it decentralized. And the most important part of that is peer to peer. And so are you and I going to be smart enough to be the bank and to use it as collateral and to hold it
yeah,
and to keep it and not get in a situation to where we feel like we have to sell all of it and then we're back into cash and then we have to go back through the next cycle of like, okay, well, when's the next Apple stock coming around? When's the
yeah.
next Bitcoin? When's that? No, it's this. It
What's
really looks
the
like this to me.
yeah?
I can't say anything for sure, but
What's the AI company I need to buy next? Yeah,
yeah.
yep, yeah. Crypto's just different. I mean, in particular, all of us in this room pretty much know what XRP is. It's going to absorb the value of things, which is exactly what Bitcoin does too. But like it's a giant sponge and it's going to suck up all these ridiculous digits that they are printing or creating. And there's going to come a day when all of those digits are going to fly into those coins in which you own. And when that day comes, it's going to blow your mind. It already has blown my mind a couple times. And then every time it happens, I say to myself, where's the money coming from? Like, why are people paying this price? I mean, people were paying $69,000 for a Bitcoin. Like, that blew my mind. I was like, wow, it was
That's
just
amazing.
$5,000. Like, that kind of stuff is just, when it happens, you just can't believe it. But
Let's think of Dad, let's think of the reverse of that too. Like those people who are buying Bitcoin at $69,000,
yeah,
first of all, who has enough money to do that?
that's right.
And those people clearly believe that someday it would be more valuable. So
Oh,
putting
yeah.
those two
Yeah,
ideas together, it screams future to me.
it does. Yeah.
Um,
It's interesting.
we got some awesome comments, Ted.
Uh-oh.
Um, Chris is back with us. What's up, brother? It's 11 p.m. there. Dip
Wow.
from Digital Dirt. Becoming your own bank literally sucks the evil out of the universe.
Yes.
Agreed.
I love that.
So good.
That is good.
Um, yeah.
And it's, the
Wow.
other thing too is fractional. fractional reserves is coming home to roost. And it's, man, it's a spooky thing, guys. That's a ticking time bomb right now in the world. Yeah. Because the banks don't have it. And the banks are upside down. And that's not a good position to be in. I mean, unless you're between the sheets, then being upside down isn't so bad, I guess. But if you're a banker,
if you're a banker,
that's not the position you want to be in.
Not so good. Not
No,
so good.
no.
Oh. And I'm loving it. Should we wrap it up here, Dad?
Sure.
Golly,
I got
the chat's been so
to do.
good. A lot of people just talking, having fun, and
Cool.
being here with us. And I love that so much.
I can't. I'm excited about my new laptop where I can actually read everybody's comments. That'd be fun.
Yeah. Are you gonna? You're pulling the trigger on that, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm getting a new.
Cool.
And I'm in the new office, guys. I don't know if you've noticed.
Show us the new digs, Dad.
Yeah,
this is where me and Dad have always dreamt about doing the show.
Yeah, yeah. So we're gonna stay. We're gonna try. We're gonna do 2 shows a week, I think, aren't we?
Yeah.
So, for sure, and that's gonna be fun. And I'm gonna do them probably out of here or the other office. I'm not sure, whichever one's available. So, and I've got a couple more ideas about what I want to do behind me on that white blank wall. So, look forward to that. I got that coming up, which is nice.
Mm-hmm.
So, we'll, yeah, it's a good place to end it right here, Brent. We can see everybody next weekend. And those of you who like our content and would like to support us in any way, it's I think $3 a month. Don't we? Yeah, it's $3 a month.
Yeah, three's the minimum.
Yeah.
To get into our Patreon. So we're both going to be doing lives in there each week now. We just did our first one together.
Yeah.
And I got so many things. I'm coming out swinging over there. I'm just coming out swinging. I try to do it here too, obviously, but I'm just researching to, try to wrap my head around all the big concepts like my dad does, and really connect the dots for us and really have fun, and be able to talk about what we all want to talk about. And so if you want to support us, please join us on our Patreon. That's where we're kind of moving. That's where we're eventually moving over to. This group and this live chat has just been unbelievable for us. We want to have an even deeper conversation with you guys. So we would love to see you over there.
Yeah. And it's the thing about being over there is I know many of us who watch DAI, he just got bounced off X, Twitter, which is just like, what? Come on. I've been watching that guy's material for a while now, and that guy's never said anything all that crazy. So I don't know, maybe he hadn't had his coffee one morning and said something really stupid. But even that, it's like, so what? Like, yeah, I thought you were like free speech guy. What happened, man? There's no excuse for that. And then I noticed everybody's going to Patreon. I know it kind of sucks. You got to pay $3 for 10 different people. It adds up. I get that. But there's no way I can say what I want to say. It's just like Rumble even is bouncing people. And I was just like, what? Can't even believe it. But we're on Rumble too. And we're on... but my Rumble stuff's just everything that's on YouTube. Rumble isn't what I do in my Patreon. So anyway, I get a little more crazier over there, both spiritually, and I talk more about the elite, if you will, my stories with them and what I know about them. And, I can't get too deep because, you know, 3-letter agencies can end up knocking on your door, and nobody wants that.
No.
No.
Yeah.
So, all right, B-Man, let's hit it. Let's
We love you
see you
all.
all next
Thank you
weekend.
so much for the support and love. We will be doing lives each week. So check us out. With that, Dad.
We are out.
Oh man, I didn't even press the button. Here we go.
No, there's
3,
2 buttons you got to press.
2,